Hello, everybody. My name is Sophie, and welcome to episode number 13 of the Book Hater Club podcast. We're back. We're back. It's been a while since the last episode, since I've sat down with you guys and chatted about some bookish topics, but we're back today. And I'm very happy to be back, and I'm very happy to finally close the chapter on today's topic. So, God wills, we don't know if anything else is going to happen, but for now, we're going to close the box, or the book is more fitting for our topic. I will be talking about Rebecca Yarros in this video, and Iron Flame and Fourth Wing, and everything around that, about that, and all the drama that has happened around Iron Flame, of course, and also just about Rebecca as a person. And I've done several podcast episodes in the past about authors: Colleen Hoover, Sarah J. Maas, Cassandra Clare, Jennifer Armentrout, also Alex Astor, my arch nemesis. And if you're curious about those, there's a playlist on my channel, you can watch them. Go watch all of my videos while you're at it. And this one's going to be about Rebecca. So if you only want to hear about that, feel free to skip forward. There's going to be timestamps in the description. I'm just going to say it right away because I'm going to be rambling in the beginning. And then once I start talking about her, I don't know when that's going to be, you know? And so if you only want to hear about that and everything around that, you can skip forward, I don't mind. Because I want to talk about some other things first, before we get into it. Give a little update, because I haven't sat down and chatted in a while, and I missed it. So, that's that. I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Sophie, and I do rant reviews, and I do this podcast episode. This, only this episode. I don't do a podcast in general, just this episode. No, of course I have a podcast, which is this one. So, make sure to check those videos out. Thank you to everyone who's new here. There's a lot of people who've joined since my Iron Flame videos. My Iron Flame review is now my most viewed video on my channel. What? Can you believe that? It's so crazy to me that it has like 14,000 views. What? Who the fuck is watching that? I didn't think, I thought people were gonna watch it, but I didn't think it was gonna blow up the way it did, because that's a blow up for me, obviously, as a small channel. And so a lot of people have joined since then, so welcome everybody. I'm happy you're here, and it's really crazy. So I kind of owe Rebecca Yarros, but I don't care, because we're going to talk about her today, and we don't fuck with her that much. So, a little disclaimer, if you... Oh, maybe I should do the disclaimer when I talk about Rebecca. We'll do it later. Because now maybe people have skipped ahead already. So, I want to give a shout out to my members first, maybe. Let's do that first. I have memberships on my channel. They're the book haters. My members get early access to all of my videos 24 hours early, and they also get exclusive content such as my Ruby Red movie commentary. They get shout outs in my videos. They get, what else do they get? They get to vote on my next reads. They have a little exclusive sticker that says peace and love, which I love personally and I want to expand on, so I need ideas on that. But a little shout out, because I'm thankful. My members are Haley B, Ashley Ranger B, Mrs. Preminger, Trinity ELW, Clara S, Kushimita, Deja, Book Banshee, Queen Sif, Courtney, and Lacey Lace EDC. Love you guys, and also love everybody else, of course, but those are my members. Those are my exclusive book haters, so special shout out to them, and I love you so much, and I'm very happy that we're growing. We're growing the channel, and we're growing the members, and it's really exciting, and next year is gonna bear good things, so God wills. I don't know, I said that the second time now in this video. I've never said that before. At least in English. I sometimes say it in German to be dramatic, you know what I mean? So, that being said, what can we ramble about before? So I want to give a little update on my current read, because I haven't done voting for my members in a while, and I have a good reason for that, so listen up. So the first thing is, I finished Nightbane by Alex Astor. I just mentioned her. We're fighting. Her and I are fighting. She doesn't know who I am, or maybe she does, and you're gonna be like, what does that mean? I'll talk about it in my review. And I read it, and I rated it on Goodreads already. And I gave it 1 star, of course. I had to. It was really bad. And there is not going to be a reading vlog for that. Not that I think anyone cares that much. Like, as long as you get the review, right, it's fine. But I was filming the reading vlog, and there was nothing to talk about at all. And I was truly, like, the beginning portion that I filmed, when I was still convinced I was just going to do a normal reading vlog, I was sitting down, and I was just not saying anything. I was like, I don't know what to tell you guys, because that is 400 pages of nothing happening, and nobody even knew it was coming out. It's the Lightlark sequel, in case you don't know. Do you remember Lightlark? Yeah. And this was worse, honestly. And I rated it on Goodreads at Honestly Sophie, go follow my reviews, and it's gonna be coming out. I'm aiming for next week, still in November, because this is a good segue. I'm going to be doing Bookmas officially. I've talked about it before, and it's happening. Definitely. I'm going to try my best. And I just want to inform everyone who's watching this before we talk about Rebecca, because I'm trying to make this a little bit shorter, also because of Bookmas, because I have to pre-film a bunch of things, because otherwise I just won't be able to manage it. And that being said, I'm going to be doing some content beforehand. Like, I'm also going to be filming during Bookmas, but also just like before that I can upload, because I have a bunch of university stuff going on in the first week of December. It's going to be the 1st to the 12th, so more than the first week, but I have stuff going on from the 1st to the 12th, so, you know. But for the members, if you're watching this, I'm going to try to get the videos out a day early also on Bookmas, but I don't know to which capacity I'm going to be able to, just because my internet, and I've talked about it before, is really fucking bad. And so it's going to be really hard to get them out just on time in general. And I just want to say that it could potentially happen that members don't see my video a day early during Bookmas, just because it's a lot of stress, and it's just also outside of my influence with the internet and everything. And so forgive me for now. If I do it again next year, hopefully will still be next year, and I'll be doing it again. I'm going to be more practiced since this is the first time doing it, and then I'm probably going to be a little bit better at doing it too, in general, you know what I mean? And that's happening. That's going on, and I'm going to try to get the Nightbane review out before that, maybe even during Bookmas. There's going to be an extra video where you get 2 videos a day, because I want to upload more general videos during Bookmas that everybody can watch, and not everybody can watch Nightbane if they want to read it and everything. You know how it is. So if there's anything specific you want to see from me, let me know. Something different that I don't usually do. I already have some things. I keep looking over there because that's my little cheat sheet. I have like a list over there what I want to do. I've already started filming my bookshelf video where I redecorate, reorganize, unhaul and everything. That's why the back looks a little bit different with the books, because I was trying to pull everything out, but that's so much work, guys. I didn't know, because I never do anything with my bookshelf. And that's going to be a video. I'm going to do a Q&A. I already asked on Instagram for some questions. And I'm going to be reading for 24 hours, which is why I have not done a poll yet. Because I don't know if I want to be reading anything while doing Bookmas, because I'm going to be stressed doing videos and getting them out, you know what I mean? And so I'm definitely going to do a 24-hour reading vlog. And that's going to be dark romance. So I already know which books I'm going to read. You can get excited for that. You guys have to let me know if you want individual reviews after Bookmas about the books that I read. The 3, I'm aiming for 3 in 24 hours dark romance books. We don't know if that's going to happen. Or if you don't care. So that's going to be the December content then. And I also want to read in December, or not during Bookmas, but just after, giving an author or a series a second chance, where I've only read one book by the author, or I only read the first book in a series, and you're gonna say like, oh Sophie, but this book by the author is better, or the sequel is better, and then people can tell me, and then I can read that, because December is all about forgiveness. You know, that's kind of the videos idea I have at the moment. Video ideas, it's multiple, that I have at the moment. And if there's anything in your mind that you really want me to read by an author that I've already reviewed a book from, or the sequel to a series, then let me know in the comments. Comment all the ideas in the comments. Comment everything that you know. That would be a little long, but you know, you get the point. And that's just kind of the update I have. I kind of took a little break after Iron Flame. That was like the craziest 48 hours in my life. I was just reading, and then I just had to stop because I couldn't do it. And then I read Nightbane, and it just kept being worse and everything. So that being said, since there's not a reading vlog for Nightbane, you're still gonna be able to see some insights on me reading it, because I'm going to be uploading a, like, I still don't know what you call it, and I say I still don't know because I just filmed this already, this intro, and up until the Rebecca point, and then I just deleted it on accident off the camera, and now I have to do it again. So I already said everything. I already said all of this, but I still don't know what it's called when you do a weekly vlog. Is it just weekly vlog in my life, or is there like a special term for it? But I'm doing that at the moment, also for Bookmas, and I will be putting the Nightbane impressions cut down into that video, so you can see like my despair, because I was doing something different. I like set the camera up and was filming me just laying in bed from like further away, and it's just me going like this the whole time, and this, because I was just like, what am I reading? It's truly really bad, guys. I don't know if you guys read Nightbane. I think at this point now we're just talking about Nightbane. The only topic I really want to talk about today is Rebecca, because I do have to film some bookmas things. I'm really excited for bookmas. I'm really excited to see how it's gonna go, if people are gonna like it, since it's like so different from my other, not so different, but it's different from the other things that I do with the reading vlogs and reviews and everything, and podcast. So listen, guys, just a little input, or a little how do you say, brainstorming. I don't know if that's the right term for Nightbane. You know, Alex Esther and I, we don't get along, just from my side, and she made a video where she was like finding out my book is a New York Times bestseller, and I think it was about Nightbane, or just a sequel. There's only 2,800 ratings on that book on Goodreads. Do we believe her? I don't know. It's very odd, guys. The whole thing about, it's really weird. We're gonna talk about it in the review. I'm excited to film the review, actually, to talk about it, because I'm just so flabbergasted about everything Rebecca also, but what's her name? Alex does. So that being said, that's honestly the whole intro that I have. I'm gonna try to be a little bit more condensed now, you know what I mean? Because I really wanna talk about Rebecca, and I really wanna get this video out today for my members. I wanna upload it the same day. And yeah, I hope you missed the podcast. It's back. I don't know when the next episode is gonna be, so you better cherish this. There's a bunch of topics that I already picked out for the next episode, but I just don't know during Bookmas with the regular videos how that's gonna work. I just don't think I'll be able to do regular. Like after that, of course, up until Christmas, I have a bunch of things planned, but I'm always, with planning, I don't know if anyone else is like this, probably, obviously, but with planning, I'm always very ambitious. Like, I'll always tell myself, oh, I'll do that, and I just don't go through with it, and then I'm disappointed in myself. But if I planned less for myself, then I wouldn't be as disappointed, because I would be able to reach the goal easier. You know what I mean? There's just too much on my plate, and I'm too lazy for the things that are on my plate. So, or not even lazy, but there's just so much time in the day that I can use. Whatever, guys. Let's talk about Rebecca, alright? Let's get that started. Let's get a little popcorn. And then you're going to hear me say the disclaimer in a second. And then we get started, okay? Thank you for watching the intro. The 10-minute long intro. Love you. So, we're here to talk about Rebecca Yarros today. About her, and also her 2 books that blew up, both maybe, on TikTok. I want to give a disclaimer. If you are Rebecca Yarros, don't watch this. If you are a fan of Rebecca Yarros, maybe this video is also not for you, because I'm going to be talking about her negatively. I said in my 4th Wing review that she made a very sweet impression on me, or to me, that I didn't want to talk about her negatively, and that I was happy for her with all the attention that she was getting at the time, right, in April or whenever 4th Wing came out, because keep in mind, the first book of this series came out this year, and so did the second book, which is still insane to me. I did a whole episode talking about the publishing industry. I think the last one was that. Actually, you can go watch that also, of course. I'll be touching about on the points that I made there in this video too, but if you want to have like more of a general idea. But I just didn't know the tea, and now I know the tea, and so I don't fuck with Rebecca Yarros anymore. Also, don't fuck with Colleen Hoover, for example. Fuck Colleen Hoover. We have to mention it obligatory in every fucking video that I make. But that being said, we'll be talking about her today. We'll also be talking about things like the American military, which is something that I don't want to offend anyone talking about it, but you have to understand that I'm talking about it from a German lens, because someone got mad at me that I said European and I shouldn't generalize the Europeans. So you can discuss in the comments, of course, everything that I talk about you can discuss in the comments. Feel free, be respectful, but feel free. And so I also try to be respectful, but I just think the American military is weird, the culture around it is weird, and Rebecca Yarros is weird. That's the point I'm trying to make. So I'm not trying to attack the people who like her books. That's whatever to me. I don't care what people like. I do not fuck with Rebecca Yarros specifically. Not with the readers, just Rebecca Yarros. So, that being said, I also have to give another disclaimer. With everything going on in the world right now, I don't think, or I don't know if I'm allowed to mention it in YouTube videos. Also, during the pandemic, YouTube was heavily censoring, and so I will not be talking about the political views of Rebecca Yarros today in this video. There are great sources on TikTok, for example, that I've seen talking about it, about posts she's posted and deleted, and if that's something that you want to know more about, make sure to look it up and look at people who are able to give you a better insight into those things than I am today. Just know that I don't agree with Rebecca Yarros and I don't agree with the German government at the moment. Okay, but I don't know if I can talk about it, and I also don't feel like I'm a great person to talk about it. You know what I mean? So that being said, that's the disclaimer I wanted to give. There's a lot of things that happened with the Iron Flame release, and that also prompted me to look into Rebecca Yarros and make an episode about her, dedicated to her queen, not queen. Get her off the throne. So who is Rebecca Yarros? Rebecca Yarros is a 42-year-old woman from Colorado, America. She moved around a lot when she was younger because she is a military brat. And people were kind enough to point out to me that military brat is a real term that is used in America, because I thought she made it up. I thought using the term brat, who the fuck wants to use that? Like, brat is such a word that I associate with 40-year-old white American women. Like, you're being a brat, you know what I mean? Like, it's like Zicke in German. Like, that's something a mom says. So military brat is an actual term for someone whose parents were in the military, and you're a child of like a military couple. So Rebecca Yarros' children would they be military brats, because only one of their parents was in the military, which was her husband. So she wasn't in the military, but would that still make the children military brats? Someone tell me. But people pointed it out to me. I didn't know. Thank you for telling me. Still a weird term to me. Everything about the American military is weird to me. I'm going to say with peace and love, or war and hate, you know. Maybe not war, because I'm scared. But anyway, what did I want to say? So she's 42. She's married to her husband, who... Oh, her parents are both in the army, and she moved around a lot. That's what the point I was trying to make. She now lives in Colorado, wherever the fuck that is. I can't put it on a map, and I don't really care either. I don't really know anything about Colorado, if I'm being honest. It's like a state that I associate with being on, like, t-shirts. Very random, I know, but it's like America merch. It says Colorado on that, you know what I mean? That's what I think about when I think of Colorado. I just don't know anything about that state. That being said, her husband, as I mentioned, was in the military. He no longer is. He was a helicopter dude. He flew around in a helicopter. How many people did he kill? We don't know. Did he kill any? We don't know, allegedly. I'm curious. And he was deployed in the Iraq and Afghan war. 22 years in the military. And then he resigned in 2019. And he resigned, and Rebecca Yarros, she, first of all, had a military block, because she's very, and I think everybody who's married to someone in the military in America is this way, and I mean this with peace and love, because that's the only people I ever see online and stuff. That's the only content I ever see. They're all, like, in those military spouse online communities, right? And they all have, like, their inside jokes and stuff like that, because they can bond over it, that their husband is gone for so long and everything. And so Rebecca Yarros took it upon herself, with her love for writing, to make a blog. And it was called... Fuck, I forgot, guys. I forgot what it's called, but I have it pinned. I have a bookmark in it. The Only Girl Among Boys. And you can look that up. It's still up. The website is theonlygirlamongbboys.blogspot.com. And the website looks like a fucking scam. It looks fake. And then she moved her website in I think 2015 to RebeccaYarros.com, which is now her author website too. And if you Google like Rebecca Yarros military, there will be a, I don't know how you call it when it comes on Google, on her website, that there's a page specifically about the military or something like that, about her experience. But when you click on that, it's not there. It's gone. They deleted it. But the website looks really weird. I couldn't find any of her blog posts anymore. Maybe they're posted on some other things. I feel like I've read some when I was doing research before, but now I just couldn't find them anymore. And that's not me saying like she deleted it or anything, but it's just like maybe, I don't know what I googled before to find it. And the blog was called The Only Girl Among Boys because, of course, she has a husband and 4 sons, and then she adopted a daughter with special needs. And I think she's also of color. but I didn't look into her children very much because I think it's weird if you excessively post your children online, which she does. And I went back on her Instagram, and we're going to do a best of Rebecca Yarros Instagram 2015 because I went back to her very first post because I was scared last night. I was scared, but I was also bored last night. And so I scrolled all the way down, and she was detailing the adoption process for her daughter because they were fostering her and then they adopted her. And the moment they adopted her and she was officially part of the family, they started posting her online, like her face. Before that, they didn't. They respected her because it wasn't their daughter, like officially their daughter. And they adopted her, and then she was like, okay, let's post her fucking face online. And I think that's weird. I especially think it's weird if you post your children in between quotes of your sex books. So it's a post of her children at a hockey game, and the next picture is like a quote from her smutty romance, where it's like, I want to eat you out. So that's just me, maybe. But anyway, I don't even know how we got to that, to the children. I don't want to talk about the children. That's not my place. I just think it's weird, and I would not post my children online if I had any. Period. So the reason, no, her husband was in the military for 22 years, and he went on like, I don't even know how many deployments. I don't even know what that means, if I'm being honest. You know, I didn't look into the American military that much, but he was gone a lot. I think in total, she posted somewhere that he was, like, cumulated over those 22 years, he was gone for 8 years on deployments in the wars, okay? Fighting for America. And then in 2019, she decided to write an open letter to the military, as if they give a fuck. And she would detail that her and her husband declined 3 more years of service for him, because they wanted him to serve for 3 more years, and in turn also declining a bit above $100,000 that they would have gotten in turn for him going on deployment for 3 more years. So her man can stay home. Okay, they said, we don't care about the $100,000. I wanna have my husband stay home with me. I miss him. Why is the camera running out of battery again? This is terrible. This is so mean. And then, this is what happened earlier. I was running out of battery, and then I deleted the footage on accident. So, that being said, let's quickly finish about her husband, and then I'll charge it, and then I'll get back to you. But, they declined the money, and in her letter, she wrote, like, the American military should pay more attention to the needs of the families that they are separating, because what about the divorces? And to me, it's always a little bit of a difficult topic, because it's like, you chose this. Like, you chose to get married to a man that was in the military when you were 21. They started dating at 19. They got married at 21. And then you had 5 children with him. And then you say your marriage is suffering under this, and you have to take care of everything at home with your 5 children. But you chose, like, you knew he was not going to be there. She was like, well, I didn't know the war was going to be so long, but couldn't he have, like, retired at any time? Or is there, like, this is, like, genuinely me curious, right? Learning more about the military. Is there, like, a certain amount of time they have to serve, and then they can be like, no, we decline? Because I'm curious, like, you knew, like, you didn't know the war was going to be so long, but then again, you didn't have to marry someone that was in the fucking military. And kind of, she's very, like, proud of the military, right? She's very pro-military, very, like, love our country and defending our country and keeping us safe in our country and everything. So maybe that's just me, though. I'll get back to you guys in a second. The batteries of this camera are it's just not good. Anyway, but we're talking about her husband and their marriage. So I found this article by Jamie Lerner on this Tractify, whatever the fuck that is. I don't know what that page is. While I was doing research, and I thought that the title just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It says, Jason Yarros is the unsung hero behind best-selling author Rebecca Yarros. Sorry? Who the fuck cares about the husband? She keeps saying that he was the inspiration for her books. So all the time, like, there's a little bit of him in every hero she writes. And of course, if you are a person writing about the military and you've never been in the military, then you can only write about the things you hear about, right? And the main characters you write, you can write them if they are the spouse of someone in the military, but you don't know what it's like firsthand at war, right? So that's why I don't really get it. Like, the unsung hero, okay, he's her inspiration, but why the fuck should I praise a man when she is the one writing them at the end of the day? Okay, don't fuck with that. we support women here, not Rebecca Yarros. So she had a little bit of a drama in the beginning of this year when her first book came out, between the first and the second, that I completely missed. I don't know if anyone knew about this, but it came up randomly while I was doing my research, and it was, is Rebecca Yarros Mormon? And I was like, oh, that would make sense. And then I looked at her website, and on there it says that she loves coffee, and so I said, okay, then it wouldn't make sense, because they don't drink the coffee. That's what I know. And she apparently had to make a statement at some point during this year that I completely missed, and I couldn't find it, where she had to come out and say, guys, I'm not Mormon anymore. I haven't been practicing for 12 years. I used to be Mormon, but I'm not Mormon anymore. I left. And I thought that was really funny, because why are so many authors that write smut Mormon? For, you know, I don't really know. Don't really want to go into that, but it was kind of a giveaway when she thanked, the first person she thanked in the acknowledgements in Fourth Wing was the Heavenly Father for blessing her. She didn't thank her husband first. He came second. First one was the Heavenly Father. So she still believes in God. She's still religious, but she's not Mormon anymore. Just in case anyone is turned off by Mormon authors, don't worry. You don't have anything to worry about. But there are other things that you should be turned off by regarding her, okay? But I completely missed that. I thought that was crazy that was like a whole drama surrounding her, and I didn't know about it. I don't want to know about all the tea. So, what's something else about her is that she has Ehlers-Danlos. How do you say that in English? Ehlers-Danlos. This is a disability. It's a connective tissue disorder, more specifically. And so do her kids. From what I gathered, all of her sons have it. In some sources, it says some of her sons have the same disorder. And in other sources, it says all of them. So it's either some or all. And this is a disability that the main character in Fourth Wing also has. Now, this is a little bit of a controversy that she was in after releasing Iron Flame, and also in the comment section under my review that people said the disability rep was not good, that they think that just because she has the same disability as the character she writes about doesn't mean that the representation that she writes is good, because she has internalized ableism, and obviously this is not something that I can really give an opinion on, because neither do I have that disability nor any other, and so I don't think that's my turn to speak on, but it's of course something you can discuss in the comments. I just wanted to point it out that people were criticizing her for that. And it's not only that I saw that in my comments where people were discussing it, that they thought the representation was bad, but also on TikTok. Also online. You know, I'm not only pulling source from my own video, but also from around the internet. I saw people talking about it. So it's also interesting. She gave an interview. I watched it yesterday, guys. I watched an interview with Entertainment Weekly, and it's a video that came out, I think, literally just like the last few days, and it's her being interviewed by a bunch of people who have read the books, both books, and love them. It's like a book club, and they're sitting like around her. Like, it's a very weird, I watched it and I thought the seating arrangement was really weird. They're like sitting around her. One of them is like sitting in a little nook in the wall. Why didn't you give her a chair? You know what I mean? And then they were asking her questions about theories, and she would say things like, oh yeah, people were mad at one of the characters, his name is Dane. I think if we're here, honestly, you've probably read Fourth Wing, maybe Iron Flame, so I'm going to try to not spoil Iron Flame, but you should watch my review on it. You should watch it. And one of the characters is Dane, and then she would say things like, yeah, you know, people are criticizing Dane, and I would always say, he's just a 22-year-old boy. He makes bad decisions. He's just 22. So? 22 is young. I'm 22. Almost 23, guys. Oh my god, in a month? Oh my god, a little more than a month. Happy birthday to me soon. But, I don't think being 22 excuses you being a terrible person. And I honestly don't remember what he did in the first book, but it was really odd to me that she would say things like that. And then she was like, I want to write about, like, how, maybe boys at college aren't always what they seem, and that that in the beginning, when you're young, you get involved with boys that aren't good for you and stuff like that. And I thought it was interesting that she was saying this when she has been married since 21 and dating her husband since she was 19. So arguably dated him during college. And so I thought it was, like, interesting, not odd. Like, you can write about whatever you want, obviously, but I thought it was interesting that is something she chose to write about when it's not something that she experienced. Like, or did she have bad experience with her husband at 22? Did he do something? Did he fuck up? We don't know. He was in the military. He fucked other people up, probably. So, she wrote about oh my god, guys, this is also something that I didn't know about, and I found out there's a book that she published between Iron Flame was right. Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, there was a romance book, because as we know, Rebecca Yarros is actually a normal romance author. She just writes military romance. If you're into that, fine. But she did write a book called In the Likely Event, and it released this year between the two books. I'm not sure when, but in between the two. So she released 3 books this year, and she has said, by the way, that this took a toll on her body. And I could have told you that, bitch. Like, why are you releasing 3 books in a year? That's insane. And she has said that the 3rd book in the series, in the Iron Flame Fourth Wing series, I think it's called The Empyrean, is going to take longer to come out than they did now. So, not 2 in a year, but it's going to come out next year, but maybe, like, also in the fall next year. Like, maybe we'll have to wait a year. I'm not gonna read it. Maybe I am. I don't want to settle on it if I'm gonna say I'm not gonna read it, but, like, if people ask me to, if enough people ask me to read it and review it, then I would, but not just out of my own interest, you know what I mean? So she published this book, In the Likely Event. It's actually up for a Goodreads Choice Award, and in Best Romance, because it's a normal romance, and you're gonna ask me, Sophie, what it's about, and I haven't read it, so you should read the reviews on Goodreads, but it's really interesting. It's a book about the Afghan war, and the one thing that I took away from it especially is that she used the description brown orbs for eyes. But of course, that's not the only bad thing about it. Allegedly, I didn't read it, but I mean, people said this about it, is she had a very, of course, Americanized view on it, because the 2 main characters are in the military and they go to Afghanistan into the war, and it comes across as very much like a white savior complex, is what people said. And also that the main character was just so annoying going to Afghanistan because she was scared for her sister when she was literally just a like the main character is just a lawyer, like she's not in the military or anything, and she goes to Afghanistan during active war, which I don't know if her husband was in Afghanistan, so that's like that's her source apparently on the internet, and so of course she's writing out of a very Americanized view, but it came across very icky, the things I was reading about the book, and I'm not sure why you would want to write a book like that, and especially if it's going to come across like that. And then there was also allegedly a scene where the 2 main characters were getting it on with people, how do you say, advancing in on them during the war in Afghanistan, and people were dying outside the tent, and his growls of pleasure filled the tent. You see the parallels? She takes a lot of inspiration from Sarah J. Maas, I feel like. But that's a book she wrote. That's a book that she was criticized for. Apparently no one else cares, though, because it's a Goodreads Choice Awards nominee and a lot of people liked it. It has a 4.26 on Goodreads with 52,000 ratings. So people really, really like it. I know that if I read it, I wouldn't like it, just because I also think she's a shit writer. Like, her writing is not good. And that's that. Maybe any of you guys have read it and can give me more of an insight on that, but I just want to point it out. Of course, again, if you are interested in anything of this more deeply, then I would suggest to you to look up on TikTok just all of these, words like Rebecca Yarros, In the Likely Event, and then you'll get all of the content that you need to see. I'm obviously condensing it a little for this video. So, we have the tea on the making of Fourth Wing. Before I'm gonna sum it up a little bit. As I said, I talked about that in my publishing episode, the last podcast episode. And that is that she wrote Fourth Wing because she was asked to. She did not write the book because she wanted to. She had been writing military romance. She had always liked reading fantasy, and there's proof for this. This is not a baseless claim. There's proof for this, but she never wrote a fantasy. And she has stated herself that Fourth Wing, for her, was more of an introductory fantasy. So not something that was difficult to read with difficult world building, but she's trying to do a lot with it, right? Like, even if she claims she's trying to do that, you can tell she's trying to do a lot with it and trying to make it look and sound very smart, but she's just not skilled enough to do it. So her publisher approached her and said, we're looking for a new adult fantasy series to publish. And then she said, okay, let me think about it. And she had like 5 different ideas that she handed in. I found this out through the interview. And the third one was the Fourth Wing one with the dragons. And the reason there's dragons in it is because her husband was a military dude. And so dragons are kind of like helicopters, is what she said. And so when she has questions about physics, she asked her husband, who flew a helicopter, because dragons are like helicopters, just so you know. And that is how Fourth Wing was born. The idea of Fourth Wing, it was born out of necessity, because this was not a passion project. It is now. I always say this when I talk about it. It probably is now for her. Like, she's passionate about it. But when she was approached for it, it's not like it came out of herself that she was like, I've always wanted to write about Xaden and Violet and anything like that. She was like, oh, I only named Violet because then Xaden could nickname her Violence. That's the only reason her name is Violet. And also because it's like a delicate flower, but she's actually really strong. You know the tea. We've talked about it, but anyway, that is the reason Fourth Wing was written, and then she wrote it really fast. I don't remember the time specifics, that was in the other video, I don't remember them now off the top of my head, and she's trying to publish them every 6 months, which is probably going to change now, because she said this was hard on her body and everything, and on her mind, which is odd. Like, I don't know why they were pushing her to publish them so quickly. I don't really know, but anyway, that is the tea on just her and the making of Fourth Wing. And now we're going to get into the drama of the Iron Flame release and everything that happened surrounding that. Okay, that was just kind of the base information. And before we do that, just kind of as a palate cleanser, we're going to go best of Instagram that I looked up yesterday. This is all from 2015 to... I actually don't know. I just scrolled down and I looked at a few pictures that I thought were really interesting, like that stuck out to me in her feed, and I clicked on them. I wanted to see what the fuck they were about, and so I'll share that with you. So the first one, I don't know from when this one is from because the date is cut out, but I think this is a little bit, actually I don't know, like 2016 maybe, 2017. It says, voted, may have dealt with a slight misogynistic who first questioned the legitimate... Voted may have dealt with a slight misogynist who first questioned the legality of me voting with a military ID, which is federal photo ID, and then condescendingly asked if I served as well or if I was just a spouse. Guys, he used the tone. I smiled not so sweetly and said, nope, I just handle all 6 kids with my full-time job while he's gone. He backtracked pretty quickly. Okay, Queen, she loves being a military spouse. She loves the military. This is just like kind of driving this point home. At the end of the day, I mean this with peace and love. She is just a spouse. She did not serve in the military. And I think the military is kind of weird in America. Anyway, I don't know when this is from, but at least she voted. I don't know who she voted for. No, that doesn't matter right now. There's other things that are worse or just as bad, so... Just to lighten the mood a little bit, we have another military-related one. It says, hug a military wife or buy her liquor. Okay. Don't really understand the correlation between a hug and getting wasted, and then there's American flag in the background, because military wives only exist in America. And then my 2 favorite ones are actually Theo James, that she posted in 2015. She said, sigh, Theo James, because he's so Josh, probably a character from her books, and I need to get back into his head soon. ... So yummy. Just to prove this, so that I don't have to put it up on screen. So yummy? And here's the military one, by the way. The liquor one. Then I can just show you like this. It's easier. And then this is the one where I read out the I voted. And then another one, I don't know who this man is. She wrote underneath, did someone say Grayson? Yum. Let's talk about Iron Flame. I'm not even gonna comment on that. In what world would I ever post a picture of a man and say, so yummy? No world, actually. I would not even post a picture of my boyfriend and say, so yummy. Anyway, that's kind of weird. So, let's talk about Iron Flame and everything. Before Iron Flame released, or around the time Iron Flame released. Now I'm actually unsure about the dates, but there was an announcement made, and that was a Fourth Wing movie. But people are getting it wrong. There's not going to be a movie about Fourth Wing. It's going to be a TV show. Okay, it's not a movie. Get it right. I thought it was going to be a movie because it says Fourth Wing Movie Fancast, the screenshot that I took, and it's going to be a TV show. And the tea on this is, I'm just going to read it out for you quickly. Amazon MGM Studios has snapped up rights to Rebecca Yarros' fantasy book series The Empyrean and is moving to develop, I can't read it because there's a picture, but Fourth Wing for TV alongside Michael B. Jordan's Outlier Society. So he has like a producing company, I think, Michael B. Jordan, and they are working in partnership with Amazon Studios to make this into a TV show or like a Prime. I don't know where they would publish it, like on Prime Video or something. Sources tell Deadline that the acquisition took place pre-strike, following a heated auction. Outlier will executive produce the Fourth Wing series under its overall series deal with Amazon, inked in 2021. Also said as EPs are Yarros and Liz Pelletier. Liz Pelletier is, I think, her editor. I have beef with that woman. Should the adaptation prove a success, we hear, this is written so weirdly, we hear, there's the potential for each book in Yarros' series to be developed into its own separate TV project. And the second novel, Iron Flame, is out November 7th. So this was announced shortly before Iron Flame came out, that it's going to be a TV show. And it was, if you didn't get that, because that was written really weirdly, I don't know, it was sold before Fourth Wing came out in April. They sold the rights already. And are now, I don't know if there's any updates now. This is the only update that I have for you guys. I think that's ridiculous. I hope they don't fucking do it. You know, Aragon already flopped. Remember the Aragon movie? And that was a movie, you know what I mean? It could have been great, but I just don't understand how shit like that works. Where it's like, they didn't even know it was going to be popular pre-release, you know, and they already sold it, the idea. Maybe just the idea. Maybe not even her draft. She was like, she said in the interview, I love that I watched that interview. I can source it now, that they sent over the first draft without her knowing to like this company, and they read it and they wanted it, and then they auctioned it off, and then they acquired it, and now they're producing it. But they haven't done anything yet regarding it. I think in the interview she said that they haven't started doing anything yet relating it, and she doesn't want to give her dream cast ideas out because she doesn't want them to limit. She doesn't want herself to limit them when it comes to casting, because she's open for anything, and I don't believe her. So that isn't the number one update. That's not tea. That's just an update. I hope it doesn't work out. So we have the misprint, what the fuck did I just say? The misprint debacle is what I wanted to say. And I don't know if you heard about this. I don't know if you heard any of this, but before this started, there was such an uproar on TikTok because on Amazon you could buy a book from Red Tower. I think it was called Red Tower Books, and that's the publisher, right? That was without a picture. And people were thinking this is like a secret Fourth Wing book release, like something like extra additional book, novella kind of thing, and they hadn't announced it yet, but Amazon was already displaying it, and I think it was like on Amazon Germany or something. We're always involved in everything for some reason, and everyone went to buy it, and there was not even a picture, there was not even a fucking description on what that book was, and everybody went to buy it. It turned out to be the holiday edition of Fourth Wing, which the cover is gold, yellow gold, and this cover is red. Maybe you've seen it with sprayed edges, right? With black sprayed edges. And everybody bought this, so you knew people were like excited already. Like, people are so crazy for this series, and I genuinely don't get it. What is it that people, and now I'm going on a rant, what is that people like about this series so much? Because it is like everything else. The only thing she's done differently is add dragons. Is it really like the dragons that are ticking you off, that are like making you fucking weak in your knees, shaking in your boots? I don't get it. But I think that might be the case, you know, because every other series is the same, and this one is also the same, but it has fucking dragons. So the special holiday edition releases on the same day as Iron Flame. People are rushing to get their of Iron Flame from their fucking Walmart and everything. I went to the bookstore a day early, and I talked about this in the video, and they didn't have it in yet even the day before, because I think if they had it, they would have given it to me. I was just asking for it. I didn't want to get the physical version. It's like 30 euros in Germany. I don't want to get it, you know, I don't want to spend that kind of money. I already had to spend 14 euros for the fucking ebook, and that was enough for me. So I would have gotten it though, if they had it a day early, I would have gotten it, just so I could have started reading it early for the review, right? That would have been the only reason for me, and that would have been worth it. But other than that, like, I don't want the physical version of that fucking book in my fucking house. Keep it away from me. And people rushed to get it, and people got their Amazon orders either on the day, or they were complaining that they were getting them late, which every pre-order I've ever gotten from Amazon has always been late, so that's not, like, I didn't think that was that deep. But then people started realizing that there were a lot of misprints in the orders they were getting, and there was no quality control. And I worked in quality for like a year. Yes, I did, guys. I worked in quality in a company. I did have a corporate job for a year, and there was no quality audit maybe going on. They were not checking the books before sending them out. There were issues like the map inside being printed upside down. When you take the dust jacket off, on the spine, there's always the title of the book that said Fourth Wing instead of Iron Flame for a bunch of books. Then you had, like, the book was printed normally, and then in the middle of the book you would all of a sudden skip pages, and there would be a chunk of, like, a different section of the book in the middle of the book, and then that would stop and then continue on as normal. Like, the page sides, the sides of the pages were flipped around and were not in the right order. That's what I'm trying to say. Also, then people were like, okay, if you have none of these issues, check chapter 17, and there will be a dragon print missing at the title of the chapter in the top, and that means you also have a misprint. So there was a bunch of stuff going on that got people really mad. I think there has been a statement made now by the publisher where they were like, okay, we're gonna make it right, we're gonna give you a proper version or whatever. But it just proved not only was this rush to the release, actually, you know what, it's what it proves. That it's what it proves. What the fuck am I saying? I have to calm down. That is what it proves, you know? It was rushed to release. There was no quality control for these books. They got them, they packaged them up, they sent them out. Because normally you don't get a book with an upside down map. If it happens once or twice, like, okay. But I saw so many videos of people saying this was the case for them. And also, like, the dust jacket of the Fourth Wing Special Edition being misprinted, like, two dust jackets on top of one another is what the print looked like the title was doubled and everything. So I saw a lot of different how do you say, issues going on, and I think it's so interesting that there's so many different issues. Like, you could really just imagine you have all of them on your copy. I would cry if I actually cared about the book, you know? If I was really excited for the book and I would get a copy like that, I would actually, like, cry. And a lot of people also didn't have their sprayed edges that they ordered and everything. I don't know why people are so crazy about sprayed edges. You don't display your book with the edges out, or do you? Or is that why why are people so excited? Just because it looks nice? I get it, kinda. I have the vlog that's coming up for Bookmas, the week vlog. I took you to my bookstore and I showed you how many German books have sprayed edges, because that is the norm here. They spray all of the fucking edges. They get any fucking book in their hand, they're gonna spray the fucking edges. And so I think for the Germans, it's not really I don't know about other countries, right? But it's not really something special for the Germans anymore. And I actually saw a video on TikTok from a German book talker where they were like, I'm looking for the book without sprayed edges and I cannot find it. Every edge is sprayed. I want one without it. I can't find it. That's like the issue here. It's opposite, right? So, that's the tea with the misprint. I mean, Rebecca Yarros, that's not her fault that it was misprinted, but it doesn't shine a good light on her. Also, a lot of people started accusing her of not even writing the books, but having them be AI generated. And I had someone comment that under one of my videos where they were like, in German they commented it. I don't know if you're watching this. They said that people were saying it's written by AI, and I commented back also in German, unite, you know, that it would have been better. Because, I don't know, people were like, nobody can prove, nobody can, how did I say, nobody can convince me this wasn't written by AI, it's so bad, it's so generic, let an AI write out of all of the general books that you have on Book Talk. They just generated a random book with dragons in it, blah blah blah. But I truly, like, I think that Rebecca, like, I don't know why that claim came up. Why the fuck would they do that? I think the book would have been worse then. You know what I mean? I did say it would have been better. That was a joke, of course. But I think it would have been even worse than it is now, and it's truly bad. Like, you can tell when things are written by AI, I think. I was actually somewhere yesterday where there was a dude holding a speech. I can't tell you where I was, I don't want to be too specific, but I was at an event, and there was a dude holding a speech, and he was like, I don't deserve any applause for what I just said because my speech was actually AI generated by ChatGPT. And the whole event had nothing to do with AI, nothing to do with anything. It was an honorary event, right, where people were getting like stuff because whatever, certificates and shit like that, you know what I mean? And I don't know why he started talking about AI, and I turned to my friend, I was like, what the fuck is this man saying? During the speech, I was like, the things he is saying, they don't sound good. They don't sound coherent. I think you can very much tell when something is written by AI, especially if you have some literary understanding, at least, you know what I mean? Like, that's no shade at all, but and he was like, people don't notice when things are written by AI or whatever. And I was like, and I really am so sick and tired of hearing that shit, you know what I mean? With AI, like, I always hear it at university. That's like the topic at the moment. I'm so fucking over it. I don't want to hear about it anymore. So that was the tea with the AI accusations. And we're actually almost done. I just realized. So you can see there's a lot of like points just adding up. But of course, the one I think she got most shit for was the pronunciation debacle. I'm gonna use the word debacle again because that sounds big. And that was, she is using words, and now I have to make sure I say this right. There's a difference between Irish Gaelic, which is just Irish, and Scottish Gaelic, right? Which is Scots Gaelic, which is, those are two different languages. They're similar, but they're different, right? And Rebecca Yarros uses Scottish Gaelic in her books with the names of the dragons, of the places. She uses them. She literally pulls them right from the source. She puts two words together. For example, and this is like the example that got people really mad, the War College is called, in Rebecca Yarros' words, Basgiath. And that is, I saw someone talk about it on TikTok, two words, Bas and Giath, as Rebecca Yarros would say, and that means death wing. So she's taking existing words out of a language and putting them together to create something. Like, she Googled a list or something. And then she gave an interview where people were asking her, this woman was asking her, so you're the source, how do you pronounce these words? And then Rebecca Yarros set her silly little ass down and said, oh, the War College is called Basgiath. And then the woman said, oh, I thought it was pronounced like this. And then Rebecca Yarros said, well, that would be a more Gaelic spelling or pronunciation. That's literally what she said. She first said spelling, then pronunciation. I remember because I watched it so many times. A more Gaelic, which is already wrong because she's using Gaelic pronunciation. But I say Basgiath. You can say either way. And that's literally not the case because you're using a word that exists, or you're using words that exist. You cannot say it either way. You know what I mean? If you thought of that word yourself and you made it up in your head and didn't pull it from a language that already existed, then you can say it either way. But that's not the case. That's not the case. And so the proper pronunciation, and I'm going to try my best, is, I wrote it here, Baskia is how you pronounce it. Baskia, and not Basgiath or Basgiath, whatever the fuck she said. I have to charge the camera. But we're almost done, guys. I'll be back soon. Okay, let's wrap this up because I think you can literally see it getting darker and darker outside. It's night. Anyway, I was leaving off at the rant about the Gaelic language, and that's also almost the last thing that I have gathered today to talk to you guys about. Basically, she has now, according to my comments, found herself a Gaelic tutor, because she listened to all of this outrage about her not knowing how to pronounce the words that she is literally using in her book. And she said, okay guys, I'm sorry, I was being ignorant, forgive me, I'm going to get a tutor in the next year, and then he's going to teach me Gaelic. And I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but when I heard about that, I was like, for what, girly pop? Like, I I'm sure like the Gaelic speakers, they appreciate it. Again, like I don't speak the language. It's actually not my point to judge if this is like, how do you say, like appropriate, not appropriate, enough maybe for her, like if this is fine for the Gaelic speakers, like that's for them to judge. But just as someone, as a German, whose language also gets made fun of, I don't think Gaelic gets made fun of, but like butchered all of the time and everything. I mean, and everyone who speaks more than English probably can understand this, and no shade, no tea if you can only speak English. Like sometimes that's just how it is. Sometimes you're not multilingual and that's fine. But if I just convert all of this into German, I was thinking like she's using German words in her book for dragons and for places. And then she said, oh, I'm sorry for mispronouncing them. I'm going to get a German tutor. I would be like, okay, you don't have to do that. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's not like she's using the words in a sentence. Or not, that's not what I mean. I mean, I'm messing everything up. I can't, my thoughts are all over the place. What I mean is, she's not using full sentences in the language. She's not writing like grammatical sentences, conversations in the language. She's literally just using names for places and for dragons. And all she would have to do is maybe look up Google Translate. Not sure if Scottish Gaelic is in there. Maybe it is. And type in the silly little word. And then have that fucking thing pronounced. Actually, let's look that up live on the show right now, if that is a thing, because I don't want to speak out of turn. Translator, because what I'm trying, or the point that I'm trying to make to you guys right now is, you don't need to learn a whole language if you're just using a few words. And her saying, oh, I have a tutor for next year, so forgive me if I mispronounce the words. Oh, it literally exists. Gaelic Scotland. Can you believe that? Okay, we're gonna try it out in a second, but you are just using the words, and you could just look up how to pronounce the words, and you would not have to get a tutor to teach you a whole fucking language. You know what I mean? It's nice, I guess, that she's doing it. In my opinion, it's nice that she's doing that. Sure, if she's interested in the language and she wants to learn it anyway, then sure. But then also saying, oh, it starts next year, so forgive me if I mispronounce them until next year, as if she couldn't right now go onto the internet and figure out how to say these fucking words. So the only one that I wrote down is the War College, which is Baskia. But now, of course, I don't know how to write that in Scottish Gaelic. So Google Translate won't actually speak the language. Like, usually you can click the fucking symbol and it says it out loud. For Scottish Gaelic, that is not the case. So forgive me for speaking out of turn, but that's like what I would have started with, you know. But also, I think that you could just look it up in a different way. Like, you could just Google it, and I'm sure there's pronunciation guides. Obviously, I'm not going to go into the depth of the information you can find about Scottish Gaelic on the internet right now. That would take way too much time. But I guess the point I'm trying to make, again, is just, you don't need a fucking tutor to teach you how to say a few fucking words, you know? And then sitting there and saying, yeah, it's actually, you know, you can pronounce it this way or that way. No. The words exist, girly pop. You know what I mean? Like, the words exist. Like, you didn't just make them up in your silly little head, you know? So, that was the tea with her and the Gaelic language. Of course, some people think this is, like, more dramatic or less dramatic. People said other authors do it. They take from the language and they don't even know how to pronounce it. Why are we coming for her? But I think at the end of the day, those authors are not sitting their ass down in a pronunciation guide and saying, oh, that's a more Gaelic spelling or pronunciation, but I say it this way. You can say it either way. You know what I mean? Like, it was just the way she was delivering that, and so people got upset at her. But the severity of all of these things is, of course, dependent on how severe you think, or how bad you think they are, or how sussy you think, whatever. That's the point I was trying to make. And then the last thing, of course, is something that I pointed out, and I've seen a few people point it out and agree with me in the comments, but not really that much, is that her story seems heavily inspired by other works that are very popular, and I have found the proof that she has in fact read, or is at least aware of their existence. I mean, if they're in your bookshelf, I would just assume that you've read them. The books that are behind me, I mean, majority of them I haven't read, you know, so don't assume anything about me, but just from the popular series, you know, I'm going to assume you've read them, especially if you display them in a certain way on your shelf. And so she has definitely read Sarah J. Maas's books, Throne of Glass. If you think that her books seem a little bit similar to that in some aspects, that might be why. But the one comparison that I made was Divergent, of course, which I actually didn't look up Divergent if that was on her shelf. But the one that I was specifically looking for was Red Queen. And Red Queen is also here. Right here, and I've read that before, and I bought it again because I want to reread it for a video for you guys if you're interested. Nobody said I should do it, but I just decided I would do it. So I looked at her Instagram, and in 2020 she posted a picture of her bookshelf, luckily for me, and then I could see what kind of books she had in there, and I was specifically looking for Red Queen because I don't want to really spoil it for anyone, but the main character and the plot, the reveal at the end, the love interest, all of them are reminiscent of Red Queen. Some more heavily than others. The main character looking exactly pretty much like the other main character, having the exact same power. You know what I mean? A little bit sussy. It's just odd that she would go with, if she's read them with such defining traits that are so similar, and I'm too lazy to put it up on the screen, you know, I'm about to go, so I'm just gonna show you right here. I hope you can see it. Wait, let me focus the camera. This is super blown out, this picture, okay? So, but you can see it says Red Queen, and this is from her Instagram. This is a picture of her bookshelf, but I was so happy when I saw this. I was like, oh my god, there it is. The proof that she knows a Red Queen. She's read it probably if she puts it on her shelf this way. I mean, it is a really pretty cover in my opinion. And then she was in some hot water in my comments that her books are so reminiscent of other books and that it doesn't seem very original, which is also, again, ties in with the whole AI accusation because it's not original. And the only original thing really is the dragons, and I don't even think that the dragons... I don't know how she's going to explore the dragons in future books, but they don't even seem that well thought out to me. I don't... Do they have their own economy? Do they have, like, a prison and stuff like that? You know what I mean? Because she said in her interview, oh, I imagine that they're just, like, humans, but in dragon form. And it's like, okay. And then you know what else she said? She said that she plotted out all of the books, and she knows how it's going to end, and she knows what's going to happen in each book. And then, in another sentence, she said... because of, I don't want to spoil it, because I don't know what you guys have watched, but in Iron Flame, the end of it is like a big, oh my god, shock moment. And then they asked her if she always knew that it was going to end that way. And then she said, once I started writing book 2, I did. And I was like, didn't you just fucking say that you plotted out all of your fucking books? That you know what's going to happen in each and every one of them? What do you mean when you started book 2? I thought before that you already knew. So you don't know. You know what I mean? But we'll see, guys. We'll see what the future holds. That's everything I have. I feel like my thoughts were all over the place. I'm so sorry if this was like incoherent at some points. I haven't done this in so long where I just sit and talk. I mean, my review, my reading vlog, but in this capacity where I'm just like, just rattling down things, you know, that I want to talk about. So I hope this was still somewhat enjoyable and somewhat understandable. Feel free to discuss in the comments, you know, be respectful. Not that I've ever seen anyone get disrespectful. Thank you so much for watching. I have nothing else to add. That's like literally it. I just wanted to get through all of these points and deliver them to you, and I'm happy that I can now finally edit it. That it's finally over, because this literally took me hours. This took me all day to film. I definitely need to get batteries for the camera. But of course that's on me. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, if you watched until this point. If you've been here a while, if you've just joined, if you're a member, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much for supporting me, and I hope you like all of my other videos. I hope you're excited for Bookmas. I'm hyping it up, and then I do like the first 3 days and I'm over it. No, I don't know, but you know, I'm gonna try my best. So thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. Peace and love. And maybe I'll see, or hopefully I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.